Welcome back to Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm James Pendleton. I'm joined by Terry McAllister and Owen Parks, and we're here to talk about Sean Dyche coming up to his first game in charge. He's entered an absolute whirlwind. He's got a really tough start. We've had the transfer window. And man, he's had to block out a lot of noise at his last job. He's having to do the same again. I'll come to you first, Terry. What do you sort of predict the atmosphere to be like on Saturday? 'Cause it's meant to be a sort of a protest or a walk, or I'm not quite sure what it's being classed as before the game. But then, obviously, by the time I get into Goodison, I'm sure it's going to be a raucous atmosphere as it normally is for a manager's first game.
Yeah, I mean, we made Rafa Benitez feel welcome when he, joined the club, and he didn't have anywhere near as much, universal sort of support as Sean Dyche has had. Because I think now Sean Dyche, I think he was backed anyway, because Evertonians, do back the manager, even if even if he's not a good manager, even if he's not a liked manager in Benitez's case. Whereas Sean Dyche, I think will get a warm welcome, and I think Goodison will be great. Honestly, I think it'll be great on Saturday because it's got no option not to be. Last season it brought out the best in us. That we were up against it. It's whatever you can say about the fact that it's needed again, and the people running the club haven't done their part to sort of help the fans. I think the manager and the players, they know, they've got a job on now. I think, sure, if anyone can get us out of this mess, I think it is Sean Dyche. He's got such a big job on here. This job will be like what Keir Starmer will face when he goes into 10 Downing Street after the 12 years of charlatans in charge of the country. He'll inherit a mess that he'll have to try and fix. But I think Dyche is the man to do it, and I think the supporters need to listen to what he says when he says we need a bit of patience. He understands that we're frustrated, but we're not frustrated with him. We're frustrated with the ones who've not only let us down, they've now let him down with the transfer window. But we're going to have to go along with them and give him every single, tiny possible bit of help and advantage that we can. We're going to have to be patient as well. There's going to be some unorthodox things probably happening throughout the next 18 games that you probably wouldn't expect to see. I don't even mean like strange things, but we're going to have to put up with things like, we're probably going to see things like Holgate and Godfrey at times back at fullback. Like the Ancelotti team got set up. We're probably going to see Iwobi out wide again because there's just no options out wide, even if Iwobi is better in the middle. We might see Decore going up front with as one of the two, just because of his profile, depending on injuries and whatnot. There's going to be a lot of things. We might see Andre Ayew come in. Obviously, the time of recording, that's not resolved. There's going to be some things that aren't particularly, what you'd do on FIFA if you were running Everton, but Sean Dyche's job now is to get the results. Yeah, is to get the results, and if anyone can do it, it'll be him. And if he doesn't do it, there was no one else who could have done a better job, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think he will be backed by the fans. I think even though there are fans who weren't particularly keen, it seems to be mainly the Facebook, a lot of them being totally honest, who weren't really for him. But I think for me, going into a game like Arsenal, where it's almost like a free hit. I mean, they've been playing so well; they've been on a really good run. I don't know if they've lost since they've come back. I think they only lost one league game this season, actually, haven't they? So certainly no more than two, but they've been really good, obviously, and that run's got to come to an end at some point. They haven't won a Goodison since 2017, I think. I think they've only won twice since 2010, maybe since the 6-1 game, I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong on that, but we've got quite a good record at home to them anyway. Owen, obviously with the derby coming up after that game, do you think it's maybe potentially even a good thing that we got these difficult games to start with? Because if we get a good result on Saturday, we're going to be on top of the world, aren't we? Whereas obviously if we play like a mid-table team or a mid-table, we wouldn't feel quite so jubilant and maybe quite so confident.
Yeah, and another thing as well, with the sort of like the little time that's passed between him coming in his first game, if you played a mid-table team around and got beat, you're just like deflated already. But with it being Arsenal, Goodison, and there's a bit of a them against us atmosphere, it could be good for the first few weeks if we just Let the team take shape. Let people get used to the who they're playing next to. Because I imagine the team for Arsenal will be the team for Liverpool as well, barring injuries. Because he does like to get relationships going on the pitch. So you will see that, I believe. But yeah, I don't, people saying it's a bad start. It's fine for me. I'm happy with the first two. I'd maybe have liked them the other way around, actually. Like Liverpool at home and Arsenal away. Just because I think that the atmosphere definitely takes care of itself against Liverpool. And Arsenal away, you can just do your sit in, can't you? And they're both difficult either way. But no, I'm not really like, we'll talk about the game in more detail later. But I think yeah, it's good game for the atmosphere. Definitely, I think the first two could be a bit of a springboard. The players have got a shower, of course. I mean that has to be what gets the atmosphere going, and then just just give the team a start is what I'll say. Just give them a chance, because there's going to be throughout there will be things you don't particularly like in terms of selections, in terms of whatever, but for the betterment of the team at the moment, and I think that's what people have to realise. And look, we'll just have, I think we should really spend every bit of our focus doing two things: one, letting the people above the team, the board, and whoever know our dissatisfaction with their off the pitch handling of Everton, and giving Sean Dyche, his coaching staff, and the players as much support as we can. And if we do two of them, I believe we've got a good chance still of staying up, because I think the atmosphere is good, and no one will want to play in it. And I'm not doing away from Burnley fans. I've got a lot of time for them, as you know. But Burnley as a town is a very small town, and it's not a very big club. So getting people to come to Turf Moor every week in the Championship, Premier League, and getting them going is a difficult task. Sean Dyche football at a raucous, loud Goodison Park is 10% more effective, I believe, than it was at Turf Moor. Turf Moor, don't get me wrong, could be hostile, but I don't think it'll have anything on what Goodison Park will be like these next 6 months, which I hope it will be. I support the protest 100%, but I do also think we've got to let the manager and the team know that we're supporting them. And I said last night, as soon as that klaxon went for deadline day, my message was, and it still is, sack the board, back the manager. And I hope you two echo that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to touch on that with you then, Terry. I mean, I think in terms of having some pre-game, and then from what I've seen, looks like it might turn to a bit of a coach welcome as well, or certainly some of it,
nice.
which obviously helped a lot, I think, last season. I think gave the fans a lot of positive, sort of like a positive outlet to sort of the media, and kind of really separated us from what's going on at board level. I mean, Owen's already said there he supports what's going on Saturday. Do you share that, or would you maybe prefer it not to take place before the game, or whatever?
Oh, I support it completely. I didn't particularly think it was constructive when the window was still open, but 1 minute past 11 o'clock, yeah. Like I marched with the Blue Union. I'm very pro protest. I honestly do what we do best. You know, like obviously make our feelings heard before the game, after the game, when the game's on. It's all about the team and the manager and backing them. It's all hands on deck now. We need everything again. It's, you know, we can get to the summer and, you know, ask how it got to this again. Now this was needed again, but right now we need to do the coach welcomes again. We need. I know they don't deserve it, a lot of them, but they didn't deserve it last year, and it added that little extra. Like Owen said, that 10% Goodison can add. You know, it can be more than 10% if it's really on it. Like we're going to have to bully teams off the Goodison pitch. And that's what we need. Like before the game, march, protest. After the game, protest, everything. But you know, as we always do, when the game's on, you know, we'll we'll do our part, and the players just need to do it as well. You know what I mean? There's
another thing, right? I don't like to get all egotistical here, but it's kind of a big day for me Saturday. So protest before the game, but let's back the team come 12:30. Just for me, just for one game.
Honestly, in a strange way, how the two hard games is almost a benefit. I know it's always better to play a team who aren't as good as the best team in the league currently, but while those two games might be helpful in a strange way because it sort of takes care of itself, and you get two games where no one expects anything from you, and if you get anything, it's a bonus and it galvanizes. And that you get 2 games worth of time for the tactics to sort of settle in and the team selection to be settled in a way that the two difficult games take care of themselves and have got a strange almost benefit. I think the bad transfer window might actually help in a strange way people's acceptance of the manager, because there are obviously some people who didn't want him as the manager. No one on this podcast, obviously, but the people
who want to get on here.
No, not if I have anything to do with it. No, but there were people who were undecided on the manager after he's been let down by the board. I think he's focused a lot of people's minds. It doesn't mean people suddenly who didn't want him now want him, but I think the people who didn't want him are now just accepting the fact that he's been let down as well, so we need to help him. So I think the support will be even stronger now that he's tasted the bitter disappointment of Everton letting them down already. He's only been here.
There's parallels to Burnley with this, because Dyche always talks about when he first got there, he's from Watford, been there a year. What's he ever done? And then 3 days before the season, he sold like the talisman Charlie Austin. And I'm not saying Anthony Gordon was our talisman, but he said we sold Charlie Austin and we brought in free transfers in, and the fans thought, whoa, he's got a tough year. But we're sort of like, he just said he can't prove it. He says he feels he got all the backing in the world after that. And then 12 months later, they were in the Premier League. So I'll see you for the Champions League in a year's time.
honestly, after a brief brain blank, I honestly think the fact that he's been let down by the hierarchy, were already not on good terms with the supporters. I mean, anyone who was doubting him or anyone who was underwhelmed now realise that he's up against it and will say, right, we need to help this man because he's here to try and keep us in the Premier League. We haven't gone down for decades, and here we are again. And we saw what it did last time. We need to, do the coach welcomes. We need to, make Goodison a bear pit every game. We'll probably lose games when we do it as well, but the manager has said there's going to be sweat on the shirt. We're going to work our way out of it. And honestly, everyone says, and I truly believe this, everyone who says, oh, this is worse than last season. I don't think it is. One, we've now appointed a much better manager than we did last season. And two, yes, we've lost Richarlison. And I'm not even going to mention Gordon, but we've lost Richarlison, a massive source of goals, and not replaced them with goals. And we're thin in attacking areas. But people, come on, guys. How can you think it's worse now when we were playing John Joe Kenny and Fabian Delph for several games last year? Like, you look at this team, if
another thing as well.
Go on.
Sean Dyche isn't going to waste the next 2 months playing out from the back and say enjoy the ball, is he? He's not going to lose every game for 2 months doing that.
No, honestly, you look at this team, you look at the core and go, he can get a lot more out of this. You look at Tarkowski, Cody, Pickford. There's a triangle at the back where you think, right, they can, he can build on that. He's got Onana and Gay in midfield. Not well beaters, but well too good to be 19th in the league. And it's just about the attacking players staying fit. But he might have to just get creative with that. If Calvert-Lewin goes down again with an injury, like we're gonna have to not only back Dyche and the players, we're gonna have to back players we don't like. We need to get behind Neil Maupay now and get behind.
I will 100%.
Nothing's gonna be gained by giving these players an hard time because we don't think they were the right players to buy. Dwight McNeil's a young player. Everyone used to look the other way with young players, until this season with Gordon. Gordon got a much longer leads than Dwight McNeil, but we need him now. We need him to play well. And same with Maupay. You think, well, Maupay's shit. He's up front and he can't do anything. It's like, yeah, but we're going to need him. We're going to need to back him because they all need backing. Like, put it this way, I'm sitting here moaned and slagged off for a full year, get signing Andros Townsend, and now I can't wait for him to be fit again because we need him. We need him. We
I bet
need
you
players.
never thought you'd say that when he signed on that free transfer that day in July.
No, a lot's happened between then and now, but I'm at the point now where it's like, you know what, if he was fit tomorrow, we'd go back into the team, he'd be on that right hand side because he's one of the better set piece takers now. And has been for a while probably, and his delivery is needed for the strikers. We're gonna need all hands on deck, as I say.
Andros Townsend is he's a one trick pony, he can't do nothing else, but his one trick is actually quite good.
Yeah.
Which we saw against Burnley, funnily enough.
Gets it out of his feet and throws crosses in, or on an occasion when it lands in the right area, he'll get it out of his feet and blast it. I was dead against signing him because the context at the time was we were replacing James Rodriguez with him, but now a long time has passed and we've got a bet. You know, we've seen our squads practically asset stripped because ever since something happened in Ukraine, we haven't had any money to spend, which is another topic for another video. But
full support to the Ukrainian people.
Yeah, definitely. But we need everyone. We need. He's hardly played yet, but we need James Garner back fit. We need Andros Townsend. We need to get behind McNeil, Mopey, Vela Sims plays. We're going to need to get behind him. Everyone, like Michaelenko, everyone hates him at the minute, but he's our left back. Well, a lot of people he's on a lot of people's naughty step because he's not had a good run of games, but he's a young lad as well. He is our best natural left back because I'm sorry, he's better than Vinagre. I don't care what anyone says. If you think Vinagre's better than him, that's just a virtue of him not playing recently.
Yeah.
You'll probably see Vinagre play. You might see him play at left midfield if injuries become an issue.
That's not a bad shout there.
It's honestly, if we're playing 4-4-2. We're playing 4-4-2 and we get injuries, then you might see things like that happen. But
I wouldn't be against that myself, right?
I mean, I hope it doesn't come to that. But But if we go the whole season, the rest of the season without major injuries, we'll be incredibly lucky. But we've got enough there to get relationships going, as you say. He likes to build on relationships. But you look at his Burnley team, that had them all over the pitch.
Yeah, and another thing, this side, I promise you, is a lot better than most of the teams he has at Burnley. 2 years ago, he spent 750 grand on Dale Stevens and kept Burnley 12 points clear the relegation places. And some of the status, some of the scruffs who were playing in that team, you'll be like, McNeely was like the best player by a mile, and we're going, we'll never want to see him again. So there's a balance to everything, isn't there?
Yeah,
absolutely. And I hope, obviously, the hope is that he can carry on to turn water into wine for us. But I think, obviously, the message for us is very clear. We've got to back the team, sack the regime, basically. We've got to support them on Saturday, see how they get on. Whether the result's good, bad, or, well, I'd say indifferent, but I'm not sure we can have an indifferent result at the minute. But I think no matter what the score is, we need to obviously support the team. And I think the fact that, again, much like at Burnley, he's had some trouble in the transfer market, but he worked through that, and I'm sure he got up this morning and just got on with it again as if nothing had happened. So there's our take on it. Yeah, probably was, to be fair. Yeah. So that's obviously our take on Sean Dyche. Make sure to let us know your thoughts. Make sure you drop the video a like and subscribe as well if you've not seen us before. But that's all from us today on the Toffee Blues.